Hello and welcome to the Gaggle Challenge, and if necessary, destroy media narratives. I'm George Szamuely. With me today, of course, is co-founder of the Gaggle, Peter Lavelle. So, Peter, it's been a very strange few days in Trump world um, because we had during the last couple of weeks Trump going crazy on the stuff, the material on Jeffrey Epstein, even though nothing at all that has been published is particularly damaging to him. Other than what we've already known. I mean, we knew that he and Jeffrey Epstein were quite good friends in the late 90s and then early 2000s, and then they had a falling out. And that was it. I mean, no one's ever alleged that Trump, had been involved in any nefarious sexual activities with underage girls. But nonetheless, Trump is acting as if he's trying desperately to conceal something.
Well,
Um, yep.
considering what the Democrats released, all of these files and emails and all of that, it gives the impression that the falling out it wasn't as complete as Trump made it to be. It seems that Epstein was still peripherally in his life, but maybe because other people. I mean, he's in the periphery because he knows people that you know. There's not been one accusation of any kind of sexual misconduct whatsoever. I just think Trump is overcompensating. I don't know anything about this. I haven't talked to him. I
Right.
mean, well, it looks like you had. Okay, so just chill. Okay,
Right. Right.
because I watched a lot of podcasts. That makes the flavor of the week. And I just kept saying, but where is the evidence that he was involved in this, friends of the playground ring?
Right.
You don't have no, yeah, Trump, he is very elastic with the truth. It's just like you should know better. You should know better than this, okay? And let the chips fall,
Right.
okay? I want to be very clear with everyone. George and I have taken the position. They ran on this. They released the Epstein file. Now you reap what you sow, or you're not
Right.
going to
Now,
reap. And
again,
that's the way I look. I'm looking at the political cost of their political promise because they used it to get elected. Okay, all of the other minutia, it's ho hum for me. These are really awful, awful people, but we already knew that.
well, I mean, you're right about some of the people around Trump, like Dan Bongino and Kash Patel. They did indeed talk about
Pam
Jeffrey.
Bondi.
That's right. But if you look at what Trump himself said during the campaign, he was much more circumspect. I think he was asked either by
Sure,
Lex
sure,
Friedman or the
fair.
what was the big talk show guy, the um, the one who does these 3 hour talk shows,
Oh, Rogan.
yeah, exactly, Joe Rogan, and about, oh, you're going to release all the Epstein
And we
files.
can look into it. We can look into it. It was a,
Exactly. So in principle, I don't have anything against it, but we have to make sure that we don't hurt people. And so he was more circumspect. He said, "Oh yeah, absolutely. First day it's going to be out there." Um, Now, what has been released is still Epstein talking, and one has to keep in mind, the messages are from 2011 when there was a lot of talk that Trump was planning a run in 2012, and there's no love lost at this stage between Epstein and Trump, and so he has every interest to have to be very resentful towards Trump, and Trump knew about the girls, but no one knows exactly what does that
what
mean.
does that mean?
It doesn't mean anything.
He knows about the girls that were
Right.
poached from Mar-a-Lago?
No, exactly.
Yeah,
Nobody
see,
knows.
this is all kind of kiss and tell stuff. You know, I'm 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 the last person on earth to defend the Democrats, but it looks selective to me, all of this, okay? It
Yeah.
looks like cherry picking. That's why just release them, okay? Release them. And Donald Trump, the more you get rattled by this, the more people take pleasure in watching you.
Well,
And he embarrasses himself terribly, terribly over
I,
this.
I, I agree because as far as I can see, I think the Democrats are treating this as a kind of a Russiagate. They think, hey, we're going to get Trump on this. And they ran with Russiagate over and over again. And then, of course, they fell flat on their face because they didn't have anything. That's what
And
it's kind
and
of looking
Trump
like to me.
and Trump was never rattled by
No, he
it.
was not. No, no. But anyway, so he's been rattled by it. But what has happened, which is very, very interesting, and it ties in with other aspects of Trumpism, which is that he has now turned with absolute rage against Marjorie Taylor Greene, who was one of his most stalwart supporters. Now, he's always detested Thomas Massey, even though Thomas Massey has always been a libertarian and should be, as a member of his coalition, because, there's obviously a
And
strong
you need him. You
libertarianship.
need him in your coalition.
Exactly, exactly. A coalition means precisely that you get people with diverse points of view, but they're basically supporting you. That's what politicians do. Politicians have to get everybody
No, no,
on
no.
board.
It's more clear cut than that. With the Congress being divided the way it is, you need him.
You need him. Exactly. Exactly. Now, both Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene have taken up the issue of Epstein, and they want this discharge. They want to force the administration to release all the Epstein documents, and Trump doesn't want to do it. And so now they've pushed for this vote in Congress, which is going to take place next week, for this discharge petition, and chances are that it will pass.
Oh yeah.
Um, but now this is, of course, brings up another issue which has been roiling the right, and that is the interventionism. Which is, again, Trump ran on the platform of no interventionism, no starting new wars, no color revolutions, regime change. And so they think, hey, well, what happened to that? And then, and in particular, why are we prioritizing this little state of Israel? I thought this is America first. Why Israel? And so this has caused a huge rift on the right. And we've had the attacks on Tucker Carlson, who I think has articulated that position most accurately, most eloquently. He's been called, of course, fascist, Nazi,
And it
anti-Semite.
brings out the worst and people like Mark Levine.
Mark Levin, and
Levine.
then Ben Shapiro, and have all been attacking him. But as Tucker Carlson explained, the reason why they're so upset about the slogan "America First" is because if you say "America First," that means Israel second, and that is absolutely
Well,
reprehensible.
what they do is that you saw it on cable TV after October 7th. We were attacked.
Yes,
Is meaning there's no difference between
right,
Israel and the United States. And
right,
of course, the lame brains uh, um, uh, hosting these programs wouldn't say, "Well, who's is this a royal we? Is this
right.
us? You and me?"
Well, yeah,
Okay.
no, that
And people like Tucker, I mean, you and I have brought this up repeatedly. I mean, why is Trump saying we?
right, yeah, exactly, exactly, and this is really very, very concerning. And I think that Trump seems to have gone off the rails, seriously off the rails, sometime in the summer, and we can kind of locate it really at the time when the launch of this attack on Iran, which seems to have caught, I think, a lot of people by surprise, including us. We thought there was serious negotiations taking place in accordance with, the position America first, ending wars. Hey, here's a deal that's possible with Iran, which actually, from America's point of view, will be better than the JCPOA. We'll get some
And we
extract some concessions from Iran, and we can say, hey, we did better than Obama.
and we had this character Steve Witkoff that made us believe that.
Right, right,
Okay.
right,
So,
exactly.
yeah, I mean, I- a number of things happened in the beginning of summer
Right,
that it seems to be just a perfect storm right
right.
now. I
Yeah,
mean, this meltdown, George and I are old hands watching all this. This is unprecedented. I've
right,
never seen anything
right.
like this.
Right.
Thomas Massey. the more you attack him, the more he is adored.
R-
And Marjorie Taylor Greene, she is a power center of her own now. Who
That's
would have thought that,
that's
George?
right. So if you
Her,
just look
her,
at what
her early, she wasn't given any committees
she was
when she
exactly.
first got into Congress.
That's right, exactly, and that's right. No, the Democrats absolutely, denied her any committee assignments. So this is what happened. So if we go back to, on Friday, when Trump suddenly launched this, this is the truth that he launched. He says, "I am withdrawing my support and endorsement of Congresswoman." I don't even understand why he puts scare quotes around Congresswoman. She is a Congresswoman. I mean, she was elected. I mean, elected and re-elected. Why does he put these quotes around Congresswoman? He does that. I don't know. He thinks he's being insulting, but it's just being stupid. I mean, it's like,
Well, it's
she's
just
a congresswoman.
it's just being stupid.
Yeah,
Okay. No other way to describe it. I'm sorry.
yeah. Of the great state of Georgia, over the past few weeks, despite my creating record achievements for our country, including a total and complete victory on the shutdown, closed borders, low taxes, no men in women's sports.
George, you forgive me if I do the crossword puzzle as you do this.
Yes, go ahead. You probably get a few right by the time we get to the end of this. Transgender for everyone, including ending DEI, stopping Biden's record setting inflation, biggest regulation cuts in history, stopping 8 wars. He's always doing this. The eight.
Who gave him that talking point? This every time he opens his mouth, he says this
There's
everywhere.
eight wars. Yeah, that's right. And people always, you have to scratch. Which are those 8 wars?
Which ones?
Remind me again. Those 8 wars. Rebuilding our military, being respected by every country in the world, as opposed to being the laughing stock that we were just 12 months ago. It's a long sentence. And then having trillions of dollars record setting invested in the US and having created the hottest country anywhere in the world from being a dead country just 12 months ago and so much more. All I see wacky Marjorie do is complain, complain, complain. It seemed to all begin when I sent her a poll stating that she should not run for senator or governor. She was at 12%, didn't have a chance, unless, of course, she had my endorsement, which she wasn't about to get. She has told many people that she's upset that I don't return her phone calls anymore, but with 219 congressmen, women, 53 U.S. senators, 24 cabinet members, almost 200 countries, and an otherwise normal life to lead. I can't take a ranting lunatic's call every day. I understand that wonderful conservative people are thinking about primarying Marjorie in her district of Georgia, that they too are fed up with her and her antics, and if the right person runs, they will have my complete and unyielding support. She has gone far left, even doing The View with their low IQ Republican hating anchors. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Well, George, this is almost to the point of disqualifying. I'm sorry. I mean, you're supposed to be running a country, aren't you?
Right,
I mean, and Marjorie Taylor Greene has been your greatest acolyte,
right,
and a lot of and I'm sure a lot of MAGA people feel that way because they love MTG. They love her. They
right,
love her a lot.
right,
Okay,
right,
and it's organic,
right.
and so Trump just loses points here. She gains points,
I,
and
I,
her
yeah,
and her standing in her district. I mean.
right.
If all things being equal, she can retire there. She'll be there until she's 90.
Exactly. You see, this is why Trump is making big mistakes because he thinks, oh, I did this with Liz Cheney. But Liz Cheney was a different case. I mean, Liz Cheney joined the Democrats on the whole January the 6th committee. So she went against her party. This is the point. Liz Cheney went against her party in joining that committee. And she also voted to impeach Trump, who was the titular leader of the party. So the Republicans absolutely turned on Liz Cheney. They didn't even need Trump to turn on her. I mean, the Republicans wanted nothing further to do with Liz Cheney. So she was done. Um, but that's not the case with her. No one's going to believe that Marjorie Taylor Greene has gone far left. I mean, it's just it's just stupid to say something like that. And
Yeah, but I mean, one of the things that Trump is oblivious of, or he's in denial. Look, well, Tucker Carlson had a long talk with Anna Kasparian. We had Marjorie Taylor Greene. She went on The View. I mean, these people are strong. They're strong people. They'll
right,
say, I believe in my arguments. I want to engage the other
right,
side. Trump is doing the reverse. He just wants to destroy reputations. And it's so patently obvious.
right.
It makes him look like a weak, small
Yeah,
man.
absolutely agree, and it's such a strange thing because again, you say you're the head of a party, hey, I've got to keep everybody on board. It's a coalition. Yeah, I got people who are, on the sort of the centrist that I don't really agree with, and I got the far right that I don't really agree with, but I have to keep everybody on board. That's what politicians have been doing since time immemorial, holding coalitions together. Otherwise, you're not a successful politician. For him to go against one of his most loyal acolytes, that is a very, very strange thing to do. And she's somebody who fights back. She's not a
And
wilting flower.
that's why I've said, I'm not on Twitter often, but I said, Marjorie Taylor Greene, is she presidential timber? Most agreed with me that she is.
That's right. But he wouldn't even leave it at that. He continued. Lightweight Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor
No
Brown.
air quote, no air quotes, everyone.
That's
Okay.
right, no air quotes this time. And then he puts in parentheses, green grass turns brown when it begins to rot. So not rot. Betrayed the entire Republican Party when she turned left. You think when did
She
she
didn't
betray the
turn
party?
left.
When did she turn left? And when did she betray the party? I mean, what has she done? I mean, why is demanding the release of the Epstein files? Why is that a betrayal of the party? I mean, it's like okay, you may agree or not agree with the files need to be published, but why is that a betrayal of the party? How does this in any way have anything to do with Republican Party?
Talking about affordability as a betrayal of the party.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right.
And, the next big storm that Trump may not be able to surmount is the explosion of insurance premiums next year. Obamacare was a scam from the beginning, and now
Right.
its shelf life is over. It is going to explode. And and with all these things in play, it's going to be overwhelming for Trump.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think so.
and all of this was on the horizon,
Yep,
and all of this was these were all choices.
that's
Okay,
right.
he made it a choice to make Epstein
He
an
made
issue.
the choice, and of course, and I think we'll come to that. The Israel thing. I mean, this is just bubbling and bubbling. I mean, this is really dividing the Republican Party in a way which is, again, if you had any sense, you would know this is really becoming a serious issue
Well,
for
there,
for, for my party. I need to back away because otherwise, this could really break the party apart.
Glenn Greenwald had an interview with a young man that 19 years old started doing content for TikTok when he was 13.
Yeah,
And
I heard that. Yeah,
that I don't know. I was pretty blown away. This guy at 19,
yeah,
wow, wow,
yeah.
very impressive. But
Right.
see, his generation, they've seen how TikTok is being destroyed. Okay, and it's not subtle. Everybody notices it. He has like 2.5 million followers, and oh, I think his name is Christopher. Was it? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Christensen is his last name. Where's your content? Oh, it's Israeli Zionist censorship. It's everybody
Yeah,
knows,
right.
everybody
That's right.
sees it.
That's right. That's right. Um, Performed poorly on the pathetic view and became the rhino. So she's now a rhino, which means Republicans in name only, that we all know she always was. So a rhino, that's usually a reference to people such as Mitt Romney. say
Yeah.
he's a rhino. He
Well, and
pretends.
Lindsey Graham
Lindsey
also is.
Graham. That's exactly that. Lindsey Graham is very much an example of that. He's endorsed Lindsey Graham.
Campaigning for him.
Yeah, yeah. Played golf with him. I think yesterday. Played golf with Lindsey Graham. Just another fake politician, no different than Rand Paul Jr., Thomas Massey.
Hey, George, is that supposed to be a smear? Rand Paul Jr., is that supposed to land as a smear?
Um,
Because
is he?
Rand
Yeah,
Rand Paul was a popular figure in the party.
right. He's a popular figure, Rand Paul Jr., and then he puts in parentheses. Oh, I think yes, yeah, I think what he means, yes, that's Thomas Massey. He puts it, yeah, he means Thomas Massey is Rand Paul Jr.
Yeah, but is that supposed to land as a smear?
Yes.
Well, it didn't work. It doesn't
I
work.
didn't quite pick that up. Yeah, that's right. That's exactly what he means. That Rand Paul by Rand Paul Jr. he means like mini Rand Paul. Rand Paul.
So
Yeah,
we have Thomas Massey, Rand Paul, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, the three pillars of the
right.
conservative movement in
Right.
Congress.
That's right. Exactly. Who got caught being a full-fledged Republican in name only, Rhino, make America great again.
You could see you shouldn't be on Twitter or on Truth Social when you're
Yep.
seething with hate. You should
Yep.
never do
No, no,
that.
no, that always, yeah, always, yeah. You know, take a deep breath. Take a walk around
Take a
the.
swim, yeah,
Yeah,
take a
exactly,
shower,
exactly. Yeah,
walk
absolutely,
the dog.
exactly. Yeah. But he didn't leave it at that either. Then he says, Marjorie Traitor Greene is a disgrace to our great Republican Party. So she's now a traitor and a disgrace to our great Republican Party. And then he launched this thing against Thomas Massey. So Thomas
Oh,
Massey, as we know,
this is just disgusting, Joe.
yeah,
This is beyond
his wife
it's
of
beyond
30,
the pale.
yeah,
It's
his
beyond the
wife of
pale.
30 years died last year, I
It's,
think July 2024. Now he's announced his engagement. I don't know if they got married yet, but he announced his engagement. Um, and you kind of wonder, what's it got to do with you? I mean, since when has Trump been this moralizer? Is he the
yeah, he's been
moralizer in
divorced.
chief?
Trump divorced twice.
Divorced
Okay.
twice. Uh, I mean, the one thing, people always said about Trump, Trump is not a moralizer. He's not somebody who cares very much about people's, personal morals, their, personal lives. And now he's sort of casting aspersions. Did Thomas Massey, sometimes referred to as Rand Paul Jr., because of the fact he always votes against the Republican Party, get married already? Boy, that was quick. No wonder the polls have him at less than 8% chance of winning the election. Nobody knows
There's
what poll he's referring to.
nobody knows. That just out of thin air. Okay.
Anyway, have a great life, Thomas, and question mark. That's nice. That was just to throw that in there, and question mark. His wife will soon find out that she's stuck with a loser.
God.
But let's keep in mind, what has Massey done? What has Massey done to deserve this type this such insults? I mean, really getting into his personal life and everything. It's like it's so over the top to anything at all
It's
that Massey could possibly have done. It's just quite ridiculous. And of course, then this that woman Laura Loomer, she then sent out. She's always kind of echoing Trump, casting all sorts of aspersions about the death of Thomas Massey's wife. She knows nothing. There's absolutely nothing about it. Well, that was something always very shady about her death. I mean, just throwing stuff out there. And Laura Loomer, she has access to Trump. I mean, maybe Trump fed her this thing about shadiness, but this is really, really disgusting stuff.
this is so unbecoming
Right,
when some really, really serious things are facing the
right,
country. I
right.
mean, and you are delving into this. It leaves me speechless.
It does. Remember, this is they were married for 30 years. You're casting aspersions on him, twice divorced. I mean, you basically have two failed marriages. He didn't have a single failed marriage. So, but anyway,
My goodness, all I can say is that congratulations, Thomas Massey.
right, right,
Congratulations. Okay.
right.
Losing a spouse, losing a family member is probably the worst thing that can happen to you in life. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
And so, congratulations. Good to both of you. Okay.
right. And then, and then this is also even more bizarre because Trump, first of all, saying he's saying the Epstein hoax. So first of all, there's nothing to the Epstein.
Okay. So now that the Democrats are using the Epstein hoax, period. Okay. You're done. I mean, if it's a hoax, why are you talking about it?
Well, that's right. And then he says, involving Democrats, not Republicans, to try and deflect from their disastrous shutdown and all the other failures, I will be asking Attorney General Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice, together with our great patriots at the FBI, to investigate Jeffrey Epstein's involvement and relationship with Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, Reid Hoffman, JP Morgan Chase, and many other people and institutions, to determine what was going on with them and him. This is another Russia, Russia, Russia scam, with all arrows pointing to the Democrats. Records show that these men and many others spent large portions of their life with Epstein and on his island. Stay tuned. So now this is a completely opposite from what he was saying. You're saying either
Yeah,
it's
but
a
it's a
hoax,
hoax,
there's nothing
George.
there. Now
If
apparently
it,
it's not a hoax.
it's
Now
not a hoax.
obviously there's a lot of
Well, I
substance
mean,
to it.
if there was any a hint, a scintilla of transparency here, he would say, including myself.
Including, and then if you're going to start this investigation, well, why not then release all these documents? If you're saying that, oh well, there were all these Reid Hoffman and Larry Summers, and they were hanging out with Epstein. Well, first of all, why is the DOJ investigating? I mean, you have to suspect a crime. What crime are you alleging that they committed? I mean, we know that these people had been friends with Epstein, just as Trump had been, and just as others had been friends with Epstein. Why is
And
the
it,
DOJ investigating this?
and plus, okay, George and I are not focused on this issue as much as other people have are. But everything I have seen, and like Zero Hedge had this really huge article, and I thought, okay, I'll invest my time in this one article, and I'll know the basic facts. Okay, no crime is committed in
Right,
these messages. There's no crime. I
right.
mean, is it disgusting? Is it lacking in morality? Yeah, a whole lot of slimy stuff. But I don't see any law breaking.
No, 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 none at all. I mean, they hung around, and I think, I mean, Glenn Greenwald raised the question. And I also asked this question: what exactly did Epstein have that he attracted so many, you know, rich, important people? I mean, they all wanted to be with him. I mean, from Bill Gates to Prince Andrew to Noam Chomsky. I mean, they all hung around with him. I mean, it's
So
a
Noam Chomsky was hanging around him to have sex with young women. I don't believe
I
that.
don't think so. And again, if you say, oh, he's working for Mossad, I don't think Chomsky was working for Mossad. I don't see that
Yeah,
connection.
see, anybody that thinks that didn't grow up in the 70s and 80s like George and I did.
All right, yeah, exactly. I
Chomsky
don't.
is
Yeah.
not Mossad.
No,
Okay.
no, 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 it's not. And Noam Chomsky, he blazed the trail. I mean,
Yes.
when he started criticizing Israel, no one was doing that. No, he was doing this in the 1970s and 80s in a very, very vigorous way, which no one used to do. I mean, so I don't see that oh, well, Mossad, they want Chomsky, but the point is that yeah,
This is just the Streisand effect.
right,
You're calling it a hoax, but now you're focusing a
yeah, that's right,
spotlight on it here. I
right.
mean, what political horse sense do you have?
No, exactly. Because now, having brought this up, then you said, well, so why, if you want to investigate something, so why are you resisting the release of these documents? I mean, that's all they're asking, release the documents. Oh, no, I'm going to get the DOJ to investigate these people. Investigate for what? You don't just investigate people, you have to actually have a suspicion of a crime. Has
Yeah.
anyone alleged that Larry Summers had sex with underage women? I mean, I haven't heard anyone to make that alleged.
Well,
No
there
one's
is,
said that about Bill
again,
Clinton.
there are people that are far more versed in these things here, and I'd be more than happy to be proven wrong. But there's no evidence that he was trafficking girls to other people.
No, not at all. None at all.
Okay. I mean, Maxwell, she was trafficking young girls to Jeffrey Epstein.
That's right. That's right. But
Okay.
that's it. And
You
that's what
know,
she was
you know,
convicted.
and another thing that I find really, really bizarre, maybe this is an outlier, is that for the last 10 years, people that have known Donald Trump overwhelmingly say he's actually a nice guy. He's got a good sense of
Oh yeah, that's
humor.
what you say.
He's pretty easygoing. He's a positive guy. He's
Right.
always looking at the bright side of things. But a lot of these messages, he's kind of uh, someone you want to stay away from.
Right.
You want to avoid. It's a very different picture
Yes.
that they're presenting. He's like, oh, I'll wait until he's gone.
Right.
These
Right.
kind
Right.
of things. I find it struck me as being very, very strange. Which Trump are they talking about?
No,
Okay, or
I
again, or again, this is just very selective. Okay, that's why because I don't think that there is this vast friends of the playground conspiracy out there. I just say, why don't we stop wasting our time and our breath and just show it?
right.
Okay, like
Right.
a
Right.
WikiLeaks dump.
That no, that's right. That's right. Um, but there's no question. I mean, Trump could easily have handled this far better than he has. As I say, during the campaign, he was circumspect, and he could have then continued being circumspect. Okay, well, I'm in favor of releasing the files as long as we don't unfairly smear a lot of people, and that's a reasonable thing. I mean,
Yeah, but what he
why
should have
why should
done,
we smear a lot of people? And that is in fact happening. I mean, wait.
yes.
People's reputations are being destroyed just because they were friends with Epstein, and I think that's fair. You got to be careful not just to dump things in there. So, oh, he used to hang out with Epstein, therefore he was having sex with underage
Yeah, but
women.
what would have been smart, and particularly during the campaign, is just to get ahead of the story. Say, yeah, well, from what I understand, and we'll find out when I'm back in office, there's probably a lot of embarrassment there, okay? Because these are private
Right,
correspondence, never meant for the light of day.
right,
There's probably going to be a lot of red faces there. I knew, and then say, and I knew a lot of these
right,
people.
right,
So get ahead of the
right,
story
right,
and say, "Do you think, Mr. President, do you think there would be something embarrassing for you?" Probably.
right,
These are crazy people, some of them.
right.
Just get ahead of it. Get ahead
Yep,
of it and say, I'm not a choir boy. Everybody
right,
knows that. Get
exactly.
ahead of the story.
Right,
He's
that's right.
now he's letting the story consume him.
That's right. That is letting the story, and now it's sort of launched what I think is clearly a self-destructive course. He's not gonna be able to ruin Marjorie Taylor Greene. This isn't gonna work because
Not
she's
gonna
done nothing wrong.
She's done nothing wrong. And you know what? She's the kind of strong person MAGA
Yeah,
likes. Okay. She's
exactly.
principled. She stands up even to power. Okay. They're going to say, that's why we love this woman.
That's right. That's right. And then Pam Bondi, a woman of high integrity, said, "Thank you, Mr. President. The Southern District of New York U.S. Attorney Jay Clayton is one of the most capable and trusted prosecutors in the country, and I've asked him to take the lead. As with all matters, the department will pursue this with urgency and integrity to deliver answers to the American people." So we're just going to go off on a fishing expedition. But we're investigating what? Oh,
Well,
here's a
if Pam
Democrat,
Bond,
Reid Hoffman. Oh, let's investigate him for, I don't know what, something or other.
well, she's a cartoonish figure. She's really a clown. If I were her to cover my bases, Mr. President, we will investigate whether there is a predicate to move forward.
Right, exactly. Exactly. And then Marjorie Taylor Greene, then, she sent out this tweet. This and the Epstein files is why I'm being attacked by President Trump. It really makes you wonder what is in those files and who and what country is putting so much pressure on him. who and what country is putting so much pressure on him. I forgive him and I will pray for him to return to his original MAGA promises. And then she sends this out. Liberty score,
Oh, yeah.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, 100%. Lindsey Graham, 43%. Grade A, grade F. And then um, APAC, Ape Track APAC. Marjorie Taylor Greene, $0.00 received from APAC.
That's gold. That's
Gold,
gold.
that's gold. And then she sends out, President Trump just attacked me and lied about me. I haven't called him at all, but I did send these text messages today. Apparently, this is what sent him over the edge. The Epstein files. And of course, he's coming after me hard to make an example to scare all of the Republicans before next week's vote to release the Epstein files. It's astonishing, really, how hard he's fighting to stop the Epstein files from coming out. That he actually goes to this level. But really, most Americans wish he would fight this hard to help the forgotten men and women of America who are fed up with foreign wars and foreign causes, are going back to try to feed their families, and are losing hope of ever achieving the American dream. That's what I voted for.
See, that's called pristine communication. That's
Right.
perfect.
That,
It's
that
perfect. And you know what? It backfired because Trump's attack on Marjorie Taylor Greene on this particular issue. You know what's going to happen next week, George? Is that there's going to be a lot of Republicans going to say, now I have permission. I have
yeah,
permission to vote for it.
that,
They've been given permission.
yeah,
Okay. And this was a self-inflicted wound that Trump has committed.
right.
Okay.
Yeah,
If she's going to, she has the backing, she's popular, she wants this to pass. I'm going to be with Marjorie Taylor Greene on this
yeah.
one.
No, I think no. That's going to prevail. That vote's going to absolutely prevail. They're going to vote for this discharge petition. So he's going to lose this vote. And the with Marjorie Taylor Greene, I mean, already her congressional district Republican Party has come out in support of her, and it's a serious misjudgment because he's done these things before, and he as I said he prevailed against Liz Cheney. He did that with Jeff Sessions, but Sessions had been a very bad attorney general. I mean, attorney general is supposed to protect the president. He didn't do
Yeah.
that,
He
because
should have
Russiagate. He allowed Russiagate to just
he should have resigned
yes.
after he just should have left. Okay.
Exactly. So, of course, he was going to. The Republicans were not going would turn their back on Jeff Sessions, but this isn't going to work. Just
Not
isn't.
going to work.
Yeah. She's done nothing wrong, and people aren't going to say, "Oh, we have to throw out Marjorie Taylor Greene because Trump says so." That's just not the way
And
people
she
don't think
took
like that.
$0 from APAC. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
she's got a pretty sterling profile right now, considering the issues facing the Republican Party.
Yes. Yes. But I think it's
Again, I've just never seen anything like this.
yes, yes, yes. So you got the Epstein thing, but of course there is still, you know, by it can't just be coincidence that Thomas Massie and Marjorie Taylor Greene are the ones who have been the most ardent critics of Israel within the congressional Republican Party, and Trump is turning with absolute fury against both of them, and you have to sort of raise questions. What's driving you? This is sort of
Bad
MAGA
look. Bad look.
looks bad look, and then you've got this Mariam Edelson, who's worth 60 billion or even more, and she's going to put a lot of money into defeating Thomas Massie. That's serious money that she can put in.
Yeah, but there's a rule of thumb. Money can never hurt, okay? But it doesn't always win.
I agree. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Yeah, I agree. And
Well,
I
I
think
don't think Thomas Massie and MTG have anything to worry about at all.
I don't think so either. But it is interesting, and it goes together with these hysterical attacks that are being now launched against Tucker Carlson, the attempt to destroy him and to destroy all of the voices within the Republican Party that I say, hey, I don't think we should be fighting Israel's wars. And that I think is really, this is, it was Marjorie Taylor Greene who articulated that position among the congressional Republicans, and lo and behold, Trump is now throwing out these furious vituperations against her. That's really, that's not a good look. You wrote out on this "Make America Great Again," not "Make Israel Great Again," and
Yeah.
this is going to be a real
It,
problem
it's a
going down
bad
the
look.
road.
It's a bad look and it's bad politics,
Yep.
pure and simple. This is not a hard one to call,
No, I don't think
okay?
so. Yeah.
And plus, um, the whole Trump phenomenon, and it's a construct that this, sticking up for the voiceless, for the weak, the ones dispossessed, the forgotten. Marjorie Taylor Greene is doing that,
Yep.
okay? And he's punching down at
Yep.
her.
Yep.
That and plus, George and I are pretty conservative here, but I'll just throw it in. I mean, and punching down on a woman,
That's not also not
it's not a good look.
it's not a good look. Interestingly, also, and will be something maybe going down, maybe also a problem for Trump, is that her kind of boyfriend, lover, or whatever, is this guy Brian Glenn, who he works for this conservative media network, Real America's Voice. He has been elevated by Trump. The way Trump has kind of downgraded the mainstream media, and he's kind of promoted the alternative media. So that's why instead of ABC asking the first question, he gets Real America's Voice or Breitbart asking the first question. So Brian Glenn has been this fastidious champion of everything Trump. He would ask these leading questions. Mr. President, aren't you you're such a great president? You've brought so much peace in the world. How do you explain the fact that you're always being attacked by the Democrats? That's the tenor of his questions. But he is, Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend. That's going to be another issue for him. Hey, I've now lost my slavish reporter. He's not going to be asking me these slavish questions anymore. Again, it's going to be a little bit of a problem down the road for him.
George, I mean, in the world of politics, if real and again trillions of dollars are coming into it. Okay, there's no evidence of that. Okay, all right. I mean, these are memorandums of understanding. These are promises. It's very, very conditional. Okay, if inflation were going down, not up. If the Obamacare, somebody came up with a secret formula to make it work because it can't.
Right,
If you can't, if that were fixed, so
right,
prices are down, healthcare is accessible and affordable,
right, right.
all these things, then, Trump could pull it off.
Yeah,
Okay. But none of these things are happening.
no, that's right.
That this is a perfect storm of disaster
Yeah.
because he cannot rely upon. I mean, even the most popular presidency in history. I mean, but the polls don't say that. I mean, not all. Maybe many polls are wrong often, but they're not all wrong all the
No,
time.
no, no. I think because even the pollsters, um, like Richard Barris and Rasmussen, who are basically, they tend to be pollsters for Republicans, are saying Trump's numbers are in serious jeopardy. I mean, he's tanking, and if things continue like this, it's going to be a blowout in the
Well,
midterm.
George, to add to it, to continue with my thesis, it's not as if the Democrats have a positive alternative.
No,
See,
no,
this what makes it even far more dramatic
yeah,
because they're not saying, "Oh, well, I think I should give the Democrats another look." They're not. People are not doing
no,
that
no.
because it's not. I'm turning against Trump because I like Gavin Newsom. No, that's not what's
No,
happening here.
no, 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 that's right. That's right. That's right. So I think um, something happened around early summer. I think I think it was the Iran thing. I think that there was a real turning point with Iran. It caught people by surprise. They weren't expecting this turn from Trump. It seemed such a betrayal what he had promised during the campaign. I think that was when Tucker Carlson came out with very strong criticisms. Charlie Kirk did, Marjorie Taylor Greene did. Yeah, Trump really went ahead with it. And then he just continued boasting about it. He just continued saying it. And in fact,
And his boasts were based in facts.
we're not based on
We,
facts,
we
but
obliterated. We
we
obliterated. Okay.
obliterate. The worst part of his boast was that he was basically admitting that this was the Israel-America collusion, which he had up until then he had kind of elided this issue. Said, well, said, well, we kind of came in to help Israel or whatever. A very, very unconvincing explanation. But then he said, oh yeah, yeah, of course we planned this ourselves. Well, that's really bad because then you really betrayed MAGA and you lied about it because your
Well,
original story was that this was entirely done by Israel and had nothing whatever to do with the United States. So it's a very bad, and it's still it rankles among Republicans that the United States did this unprovoked attack on Iran on behalf of Israel.
George and I have chronicled a good part of the Trump political experience on this podcast. And we went through all the lawfare against Donald Trump. Were way ahead of a lot of other people, particularly on Russiagate. And I'll say it publicly. It rankles me that George and I aren't given that kind of recognition because we were right on top of it
Right.
all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But after he bombed Iran, I told you this directly that, considering all of the impeachment nonsense that Trump has had to face, because
Yeah.
it was all nonsense, that attack on Iran was not nonsense and he should be impeached for it. I'm sorry, I have not changed my position.
Yeah. Yeah. There was no justification for it. He provided no explanation for this. The few explanations that he did offer flew in the face of what his own intelligence agencies have been telling him. I mean, this is the exact opposite. Your claims are the opposite of what Tulsi
And
Gabbard
we're seeing
had
this
said.
happening with
And
Venezuela over
Venezuela, I
again.
mean, and that's adding to Trump's tanking numbers. This is not popular. I mean, going to war is not popular, but when you haven't even laid the groundwork for it, provided some explanation as to what you're doing it, why you're doing it, how does this improve the life of Americans, when you haven't done any of that, and you're just simply going ahead and doing this, then people don't like it because this is the kind of thing that's going to could blow up in your face. And then what? Then we're kind of stuck. Americans are stuck with the consequence. Everybody's stuck with the
Well,
consequence.
and also, I mean, maybe for those that pay a little bit more closer attention, you ban a Palestinian delegation at the General Assembly, but you allow Giuliani, a Al
Yeah.
Qaeda operative, a seat in the White House. I mean, you know, we should never underestimate it, and I think history will record in retrospect that the exposure of Israel's genocidal attack on Gaza has woken up a lot of people. Again, I refer people to the Glenn Greenwald interview with that young TikToker. I don't know if that's a word, but he's on TikTok. You have 17, 18, 19-year-olds talking about this right now. Okay. And when they see, a quote unquote reformed terrorist, invited, embraced, and then you see tens of thousands of children being killed in real time. I mean, there's not, none of this is hard. This is not hard stuff.
No, exactly, exactly. And it's when Trump first ran for office, 2015, 2016, he said, "Well, hey, I'm not beholden to APAC. I'm not beholden to Israeli money, so I can take an even-handed approach to the Middle East." That was very, very important
Well,
for
he also,
2016 to say all that. Say, hey, I'm going to look at this war with a fresh pair of eyes because I don't need this APAC money.
yeah, well, he also said, and it was very prominent during the primary debates, the 2016 primary debates, where he said he knows how it works.
Yeah, yeah. So that's right.
I know how this influence peddling
Right.
works.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there was a round of applause. It's saying,
Yeah.
yeah, we know how the system is rigged against us. Maybe we should have our guy in
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
in there to
Right.
keep. Well,
That's right. That's right.
Fool me once, fool me
That's right.
twice.
Exactly. So that's why what he's doing now is absolutely destructive. Now, if the Democrats win in the midterms, I mean, that's a long way down the road, but that's a possibility. Boom, he's got impeachment. He's got absolute impeachment, impeachment-itis that he's going to have to cope with for the last 2 years of his presidency. He's going to need a lot of support to survive that. And if there are people around, and particularly if the Democrats are smart and they pick on somehow, let's say he's waging an illegal war against Venezuela. If they use that as a basis to go after Trump, that's going to be very interesting. How very somebody like
But we've
Marjorie
seen
Taylor Greene will
we've
vote
seen
on
it.
that
Well, George and I have seen it before. One of the articles of impeachment against Nixon was the illegal war in
Cambodia.
Cambodia.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
You know,
So
yeah, it's a year from now. Um, But it can take a few news cycles, a few weeks to really put yourself in the gutter. And it takes a lot of hard work to get out of it. Okay. I don't know. I'm a really big fan of Faulty Towers, the British television. It was just absolutely brilliant, where, it starts out every episode where our main character, he tells a small lie, but to cover up that small lie, he tells another lie, and it goes through the
yeah,
entire
yeah,
program,
that's
and
right.
it ends up being just a total hilarious farce. This is what I'm seeing Trump do. Well, every blunder is magnified. He magnifies it, and he's pointing all the attention on those issues instead of the going out. He's pushing it in. He's
That's
like
right.
a magnet for it right now. This is no political wisdom involved here. I'm baffled.
This is baffling, and particularly after the lousy election results just a week ago, you're compounding your problems. I mean, it should have been fairly obvious then. Hey, you've got some serious issues here. These were very poor results. You can say, yeah, it's off year, so on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
On,
yeah,
on
yeah.
every level, you lost everywhere. Big swing against Republicans everywhere. That you have to take seriously. And he's now, what are you doing now? You're attacking your own base. After a terrible rout in an election, you're attacking your base. That's political
Well,
suicide.
and also, the political failure of the shutdown is being blamed on Democrats. I'm sorry, people blame the government. They don't blame Republicans. They don't blame we send you there. Why don't you do something for us and not shut down? Okay, they say who made out on it? It was Republicans. No, government failed.
Yeah, yeah,
The establishment failed. That's how people see it.
yeah. I agree. I agree.
You can't take that kind of stuff to the bank.
No,
It doesn't,
I agree. People
it's
will
you
say,
can't,
"Oh,
it's not
who they blame?"
fungible.
It doesn't mean it means absolutely nothing. Oh, they blame the Republicans. They blame Democrats. No, they just everyone looks bad, and
Everyone.
and no one can in fact predict as to how that's going to play out in the
Oh,
election
it's
to the
not. It's not
midterm.
going to means nothing.
Nothing.
It means nothing now.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So I think this is a very strange conduct on the part of Trump. We'll see whether he's going to make an attempt to rectify things in the next couple of days.
You know
But
what just came to my mind? This is George and I were talking about the absolutely catastrophic interview with Laura Ingraham, and I think both of us thought
we were
it
talking.
can't get worse than this.
That's
Oh
right.
my
Yeah,
God!
that's a very good
And then
point.
it
Yeah.
just was a cascade effect.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Exactly. That was yeah, that's right. The Laura Ingraham we did a podcast on that. It was a disastrous interview. People were just staring at this. You're saying
Even
America.
Laura was like, I'm sure she was looking at her executive producers like, do we cut this now? Maybe we should.
That's right. And
I'm
he
sure
said,
somebody was giving her a signal.
I
I
think
mean, it
so.
was
I
either
think
eyes or
you could see
something
her
like
eyes were
this,
was looking at
like
somebody. Yeah, that's right.
wrap it up.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, he said America doesn't have talent, so we have to start importing talent into
We
the
have
United
talent. No, we
States.
don't.
Yeah, no, that's right.
There's the 2028 Democratic Party
Right, yeah, that's right. And
political
then,
ad.
and then they're saying, oh, yeah, we need all these students, 600,000 Chinese students, because this, we need to continue our elite universities so they can continue raking in millions of dollars from Chinese students. These are the elite universities that hate you. These are, these are your political enemies, and you want to bankroll them with Chinese money. This is just nuts.
Okay, well,
So that was it was a
let, let-
catastrophic interview.
let me ask a kind of a meta question. Is this whole MAGA paradigm just a fraud? Has it always been a fraud?
It's a very good question. Um, you always get the impression with Trump that he's so transactional. He's such a pragmatist. I really don't think he's driven by any strong ideas. He's not really like Pat Buchanan, who was, he had ideas. He thought about things. He was driven by a certain idea about America. You kind of feel that Trump was just so swept along in 2016. Again, he's transactional. He figured what was working, what doesn't work, and he just ran with it. Then he got to the presidency, and then after 2020, he was just filled with this anger and bitterness over what happened in the election.
And
But
and his followers and supporters had the same sense of bitterness.
exactly. But then you have to wonder, does he really believe any of this, or was this something? This is something he embraced in 2015, 2016, when he saw how successful Ron Paul had been in 2008 and 2012. So he picked on some of Ron Paul's ideas, but he had more, obviously, a much more charismatic figure than Ron Paul ever was. But it is a very good question. What does Trump really believe? How much does Trump really? Because throughout his life, he's been all over the place. People have sort of tracked all the different positions that he's taken. Sometimes socially liberal, sometimes socially conservative, sometimes pro-immigrant, sometimes anti-immigrant. You kind of wonder, how much of this does he really believe? And where he is now is just simply bizarre. He says, "I am MAGA." Lindsey Graham, whom you endorse, he's MAGA. Marjorie Taylor Greene is not MAGA. This makes this is completely insane. Somehow Lindsey Graham is somehow MAGA. Yeah, and then he
Yeah,
said
and by association, Mark Levin is in his orbit. I mean,
Lindsey exactly. Mark
it is one
Levin.
of his speech over the last few days is some of the most repugnant I've ever heard in American political life. I mean, it's the ravings of a madman.
Yes, yes. Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right. And that's what a lot of these people are like that. That they just the ravings of madmen. They're just they're going around accusing people of being Hitlerites. Oh, you read Mein Kampf. At home. Or like John Podhoretz accused some conservative. Oh, you're probably leafing through the protocols of the elders of Zion. You're just throwing these absolutely insane accusations around. These people have gone off their rocker, and somebody like Trump should have said, I want to distance myself from these people. These people are truly repugnant.
Yeah.
They're horrible, evil people. I don't want to be tainted by
No,
them.
no, but nobody is flips in to Mark's argument. Nobody is convinced by him. People are repelled by him.
Yeah.
And then if you had any doubts about Tucker, listen to Mark Levin, and then you were convinced that Tucker is right.
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, he's kryptonite. He is something that, when you want, you're just kind of in awe that are you actually saying these things? Really?
Yeah.
That's your only response.
Yeah. Yes.
He's not convincing anyone that isn't already convinced by him.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yes. That's right.
I'm not going to platform Tucker. Go.
I'm,
Where do you find Mark Levin? Most people don't know where to find him.
oh
Okay.
no.
Tucker Carlson,
He
love
has
him or hate him, go into YouTube. It's
He has a
all
huge following. Mark Levin, he only got that gig at Fox News because of Sean Hannity. I mean, it wasn't because he was so wildly successful, or he had a winning personality. Obviously, he doesn't have, in any
it
sense,
has he has as much charisma as this vape. Okay.
exactly. But Hannity kind of got him that gig. But his viewership numbers are pretty dismal. I mean, yeah, and the whole idea that, well, I'm not going to give Tucker Carlson, I'm not going to platform Tucker.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Um, uh, the sense of proportion.
Yeah,
But what all this talks about, and maybe it's worth exploring at another time, these people are obviously very desperate. Is Donald Trump desperate? Who is he trying to appeal
I don't know.
to?
That's a very good
I don't
question.
know. I don't know.
I don't know.
Who, who is
It
he trying to convince?
I don't know. It's very strange. It's very, very strange because at this stage, if you look at these election results from a week ago, you go to your pollsters and then you ask your pollsters, well, what should I do to get my numbers moving in the appropriate direction? And they will tell him, say, well, you got to address yourself to people's concerns. They don't think the economy is doing well. They don't think inflation is going down. And they want you to stop obsessing about international affairs. They want you to focus on domestic affairs. That's what your pollsters would tell you. And that's what most intelligent politicians would do. They listen to what their pollsters say. Okay, well, I think I'm going to follow that. And then things are going to change for the midterms. But he's done exactly the opposite. No one would have told him, hey, I think the best thing to do is for you to pick a fight with Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't think anyone's going to would advise him to do that.
Yeah, but see, um, uh, he puts himself into a position of weakness because political common sense at this point is men fences with her. Okay,
Yes,
men
yes.
some, but he's the president. It would be very very hard. I mean, if it was somehow telegraphed to her that Trump wants to make up, we need to do it the right way. She would bend. She would.
I think so
She
too.
would. Okay,
Absolutely.
because she's a classy lady.
Yeah.
Okay, I never would have said that about her.
Right.
I
Right.
I fell for all of the junk about her in the beginning, and I
Oh
thought,
yeah.
okay, this is going to be a problem child for the
Right. Right.
Republican Party. And maybe she did say some things. Everybody says things. Okay,
But
fine.
but the
Okay.
problem that Trump has with her is that not only was she his most loyal supporter. I mean, the first thing she did, she was elected in 2020. First thing she did was to file articles of impeachment against Joe Biden. I mean, I think even before he,
He was inaugurated.
yeah, already she filed articles of impeachment. But then after January the 6th, she was a stalwart defender of Trump over January the 6th. She went to visit all the people in prison. You remember she was
Yep.
trying to get in to visit everyone who was imprisoned. It was very nasty jail. In D.C. That's no fun.
Yeah.
That jail.
Yeah.
Uh, you know,
Midnight Express stuff,
yeah,
folks.
that rats running around. That's no fun. And she made a huge effort to try and get in and talk to the people. People like Lindsey Graham abandoned Trump after January the 6th. They did it openly. He abandoned Trump. He said, oh, well, he's betrayed us. I'm very disappointed. He was a
All
consequential.
right, I got a
I'm
question
very
for you, George.
disappointed.
I got a question for you, George. How's JD Vance feeling right now?
That's a very good question. I think he's probably thinking that he will be able to emerge as the Trumpian without Trump. But it's a
He
good, but
can't be he can't be fired.
he can't be
Okay?
he can't be
He
fired.
can't be fired.
He
And
cannot be fired, exactly.
if he had some political stones,
He can't be
he would
fired.
say MAGA. I gracefully and respectfully disagree with the president, but MAGA means that he's got to start doing that.
I think
Okay.
so.
I mean,
Uh,
because he's going to go down, like a fireball.
they're right. No,
If he
I
can't create a political space for himself, he's done.
Right. No, I think that's a very good point. Now, that's a very, but let's say he started. It's certainly absolutely within the realm of possibility that if he said made a speech that annoyed Trump, Trump would then send out a truth attacking J.D. Vance. I mean, Trump would do it.
Yeah, well,
That doesn't mean
see
he's going.
how's that working? Sending
Right,
out
but
people.
I don't. Yeah, I don't think a president I don't think you can fire the vice
No, you
president.
can.
No,
You
I
can.
don't think you can do it. Yeah.
No, I mean you can. He's not allowed into the White
Right,
House.
right, right.
I mean,
That's okay. You know,
there's a million and one little
yeah,
humiliation.
yeah. But
Okay. Yeah, but I mean,
presidents have,
JD, at this point, how do you? I mean, do you want to have a hand in your humiliation or not?
yeah. But look, JD has to be, he has to have his eyes on 2028, um, and he therefore needs to begin to distance himself from Trump. He did that a little bit when was it the Turning Point conference when he was asked about Israel. I think again the question was very much why are we beholden to Israel? So, oh no, we're not beholden. In fact, Trump has been very critical towards Israel, but he knows that he has to do this. He can't just simply mouth these slogans in the way that Eric Trump was unable to answer these very questions. He said, "Oh, the
Yeah,
usual kind of
and JD, those are your people
those are your
asking you.
people," and so they,
I mean, you're not even looking beyond the divide. You're talking about your
right,
people now.
right, right. No, that's right. Look, I think it's the post-Trump succession fight has begun, and it's going to who's going to pick up the mantle. But the more Trump does these things, like the Laura Ingraham interview, this fight, the more he's going to be seen. Hey, I don't really need him. If I'm going to be thinking about my political future, Trump's just going to be seen like a cantankerous old man. This isn't the
That
leader of
is
a
a
movement.
very, very interesting description.
Yeah,
Because that's speaking. You and I talked about this a little
yeah,
bit. As he's a little off, kind of
right,
weird, but we're so used to his weirdness that it's hard to differentiate it. But he's coming off very cantankerous. He doesn't like when people disagree with him. We've all been around elderly people that
yeah,
don't like disagreement.
right,
Okay,
right,
it's part of that part of life. But I don't know. I mean, now I'm really beginning to question this because I don't. Politics is the survival of the fittest game, and he's not fit
no,
right now.
no, no.
And to wind this up here, I don't know what he can do to get out of this.
Well, I think the only way is for him to, fixate obsessively on domestic affairs. He was basically voted into power to address domestic issues. Always been domestic issues, which is, hey, America has got to become an industrial power again. America cannot dissipate its energies on all sorts of foreign interventions. Then he says that was the bad old days. Those are the neocons and everyone else who were kind of obsessing about this country and that country. And he's no, 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 we're not going to do that. We're going to address America's domestic problems. That's what he has to do. He has to go back to that. The last thing he wants to do is to start picking this ridiculous fight with Maduro. I mean, there's no political mileage to be had. Maybe a little bit in Florida, but nowhere else. No one else. No one in America cares about Nicolas Maduro. Doesn't. No one believes that Nicolas Maduro poses any kind of a threat to the United States. And then you start talking about Nigeria. You're going to go into Nigeria. You know, so how to get out of it? Yeah, address.
Well, and interesting is that in reference to this belligerence towards Venezuela and Maduro, is that Trump is now almost underwater with the Hispanic vote, which he'd
right,
reverse over two election cycles.
right, right, exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
I guess we won't answer it now, but why is he doing this? What is behind this? Who's talking to him? Who's trying to convince him? Oh, it'll be a walk in the park, it'll be an easy win. Okay. Who is telling him this? Oh yeah, all we have to do is throw the Russians out of the Swiss system and their economy will collapse. Who said Victoria Nuland probably told that to Biden,
That's
okay? I
right,
mean,
but it's a good question. Whom is he listening to? I can't believe he's really listening to Laura Loomer. I mean, I can't believe that that's the case. I mean, if it's true, then that's really quite shocking. But I don't know. It's a very good question. Like, who has his ear? I suspect really no, I don't think there's anybody. I haven't heard that there's anybody who is really close to him or who kind of advises him on things. I mean, I guess he's close to his children. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's one of his children, but I don't know of anyone who kind of who's telling him, hey, this is going to be really easy to do. You're going to just simply, terrify Maduro, and he's going to just walk away. It doesn't make any real sense on
yeah,
any level.
all the more so is that we're dealing with a very specific part of the electorate. I mean, people on the left, I mean, Donald Trump is dead
Yeah,
to them.
yeah,
Okay, I mean, so that's they're not even part of the conversation. This is within your own your own tent.
yeah.
This is where it's on fire in your own tent. That is not where any
No,
politician wants to be.
no, no. That's right.
And plus, the parties are different because they're different liberals and conservatives have very different political personalities. With liberals, it's a top down. Everybody gets lined up. Like Obama says, everybody drop out of the primary and support Joe Biden. That doesn't happen in the
No, no, no.
Republican.
That's right. No,
It's a different it's a very different political personality. And
that's right.
so, the Democrats, they line, they're Bolsheviks in the way they behave.
No,
Okay.
that's right. It's a very, look, America's been a 50-50 country now for quite some time. It's basically, it's always a very tight race. Unless there's a fluky kind of candidate such as Obama, and that was a kind of, people got very excited and he's transformational. Otherwise, these elections are pretty tight. So it's 50-50. So if you lose any support on your side,
Any
yeah,
support.
you're in real trouble. You just can't afford to lose anyone on your side if you hope to prevail, because it's 50-50. I mean, you're only going to win by a narrow margin. And then if you alienate, some core supporters, then you're going to lose. I mean, it's very simple mathematics. And that's why if you attack Marjorie Taylor Greene, you lose supporters. You don't gain anything. There aren't going to be Democrats who
Yeah,
say,
they're
"Oh,
not
I'm
going to
really
be.
excited by this. I think I'm
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
vote for Trump because he's turned against
Wow.
Marjorie Taylor Greene."
Yeah, there are no liberals in San Francisco saying, "Oh, Trump's going against Marjorie Taylor Greene. He's my guy."
Yeah,
That
that's
doesn't.
right. Yeah, that's it. I'm with Trump. And it's not going to happen. So therefore, it's just a very straightforward math. You're losing support, but you're not gaining any. That doesn't make any sense for any politician.
Let's just let's just see if this was just a
Right.
very weird success, a series of very bad news cycles. Okay, maybe that was it. It started out with Laura Ingraham, which was just, I was just, huh? I think it could have been like AI to
Right.
me. I mean, it just,
Right.
and then it just went to hell from there. So we'll see. Plenty to keep us busy with, George. Okay. Um, uh, this is Sunday as part of our wrap here. I'm going to start. The tip jar has been on my mind. Okay. And I think that we have to keep banging it around. Okay. Because there's a lot of space in that jar.
Space, exactly. And and as Buddy likes to say, yeah, you see, it goes up. You see, when, there's only, one way that a tip jar goes up. If it's not going up, then essentially, it's not moving in the right direction. It's kind of it's also simple mathematics. So tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern time, we're doing our um, joint live stream. And I think Apple said, yeah, tip jar, do something up. not down. So we're very grateful for all of your help, friendship, and support. The more you're able to donate, the more of these videos we can make, the more we can improve on the technology, and above all, get these dogs, get them into a better mood. I mean, look, he's enraged. So remember, if you like the gaggle, please like, share, and subscribe. See you soon. Bye.